Hi there everyone. In this video, I'll share with you what I learned about delivering co-creations face-to-face and online.
We were weighing up the benefits of online delivery for the convenience and accessibility of participants against the benefits of face-to-face communication and that this may be preferred by others. So the thinking was to capture the most diverse set of participants, and that for that we would go with a hybrid delivery for the co-creation. We ran a pilot of a hybrid session, but because our room wasn't set up for hybrid, the person online could only hear the facilitator and not the others. This was because the camera/mic setup was at the front of the room and it couldn't pick up the participants sitting at their desks. If participants spoke from their own laptops to the online participant, others in the room had to have their microphones and speakers muted to avoid feedback and echo. So the top tips if you are looking to go hybrid is to ensure that you can see everyone in the room via one camera and a decent microphone, and to see the online participants on a big screen with decent speakers. So hybrid can work, but it's important to realize that it suits lecture sessions or static workshops rather than movable co-creation activities. So we used a hybrid setup just once when we needed to beam in a tech expert from Europe to present guidance for a particular activity. But it has its limitations for things where you're setting up physical tabletop exercises or activities where people are moving around, because you risk alienating the online participants because they can't join in, necessarily see the table, or they're seeing the back of people's heads. If we use an online board such as Miro, this forces the face-to-face participants onto laptops, which can impair the face-to-face dynamic. One way that we overcame this in the pilot was to project an online board onto a wall and have face-to-face participants place physical sticky notes on the wall, and then I photographed the result. So the example illustrated here asks the all-important question, what's your favorite biscuit? So you can see that the online participant answered shortbread electronically and the rest answered using physical sticky notes. So it was a fun thing to do, but in the end, we decided on running separate face-to-face and online workshops over a hybrid session. And one of the reasons is this allows us to run activities that are suited to each mode of delivery. So in the face-to-face, things such as Lego, the cube, which you'll be doing in your workshops with Nikki, and face-to-face discussions worked well over big sheets of paper with smaller participant numbers. The larger numbers attended online, and we ran our online sessions via Zoom in Mentimeter slides. And this is one of my favorite activities to do. It's an emoji cloud that acts really well as an icebreaker. On Miro, which all participants were logged into, this is a nice example of a way to collect feedback through an interactive board. All participants, regardless of their mode of participation, had access to the Miro board. And even though we didn't use it much during the face-to-face sessions, I made a digital copy of the face-to-face session data and put it onto the Miro board so that everything was in one place. And because the face-to-face sessions were run first, we often rolled the face-to-face data into the next online workshop for these participants to refine. And of course, there were some aspects that we replicated in both workshops. For example, using a movie trailer with a documentary talking about creativity, we were able to stimulate discussion amongst the group as to what defines creativity and lower the barrier of fear that often surrounds participating in creativity workshops. And also, as a group, define what creativity means for us. So, what we were doing in our co creation was developing a technology for healthcare students to learn the communication skills practicing on virtual patients. And so, using a design thinking framework, we wanted to build empathy towards the students as end users. We built word clouds for people to consider the various needs of students. And then from those, we built empathy maps inspired by these words. So here's a paper copy, but it can also be done in Miro online by adding sticky notes. And then we built personas, again, through discussion on paper or through a digital media. We raised participants' empathy with the virtual patient character herself by actually role playing, so putting ourselves in her shoes and her social situation. We also had a login for each participant into a WordPress site, and all students at Coventry University have access to a domain. In this case, we called ours cosupport.coventry.domains, and this also served as a site to provide recruitment materials for the study. So when then people registered, we could provide them with a login that gave them access to where the session timetables and materials were located on the site. I also used the blog section to raise awareness of the project and sent out private blogs to participants after each session to feedback the decisions and communicate the direction of the project. So, hopefully, this gave you some fresh ideas, some food for thought. And if you have any questions about different ways to deliver co-creations, I'm always happy for you to get in touch. But good luck otherwise with your co-creation.